Help me welcome Howard Lau.
Well, thank you for introducing me in such a special way. And first of all, I would like to have opportunity to first thanks again for Sunil for giving me the opportunity to speak of you. Please, everyone, give a big round of hands to Sunil for this quick event, and to all these people who setting up the event. Well, I'm going to start this up quickly by giving us something gifts. So first, who wants to come here? First things, they're going to give this. Perfect. Well, thank you. What's your name? Dr. BBB? Awesome. Well, thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. So we're going to jump into the topic quickly. So first of all, who wants to make money? By show of hand. That's good. Who really want to make money? Tell me about it. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because we are all here to make money. And in my opinion, for my net worth, I think there's no better way to make money in investing in multifamily. So would you all agree? Yeah. It's perfect. I like a little bit of emotions. So I'm going to pick up some more to motivate you guys for this Saturday. Because you guys are action-oriented persons, right? Because otherwise you will be going to Square One shopping, you will go to Mississauga shopping, but you're not. You're here to learn about multifamily real estate, investing. So the next First Lady come up to this stage will get this. Perfect. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Perfect. Awesome. Well, I guess I have to get into the topic, right? I guess Sunil has been keep looking at me. Where is this guy going? Where is this guy going? Okay, let's go to this. So today, I'm going to give you so much value. I'm going to give you so much value so that at the end of the day, you're going to know how to find a deal. You know how to do the due diligence of the deal, how to analyze the deal, and close the deal. If you don't know how to do that, maybe you partner with someone who do know how to do that. I'm here to help you here today. So my name is Howard Lau. So let's just right in. So over the last presentations, my lawyer always warned me. It's like, you know, you want to put a little bit of a disclaimer. So I call it housekeeping. So we are not affiliated or do anything about investing, tax, legal, accounting services. We're just here for the information only. In my opinion, that's going to be BS. That's what I'm talking about investing, right? So agenda. So really quickly, I'm going to talk about who am I. I want to show you who am I. Amit had a really good introductions of me, but I wanted to tell you a little bit of who am I, closer. And I'm going to talk about multi-units. What's the biggest difference between multi-unit and single units? Why you're here today is to learn about multi-units anyway. How to find a deal, as I talk about, how to analyze a deal, and how to do due diligence. So that is me. That's a nice picture, right? Who say this is good picture? Give me a hand. Awesome. No, not yet. Good call. Good call. So, as Amit mentioned that, I'm actually from Calgary, Alberta. I fly here yesterday because I love you guys so much that I want to share about multifamily with all of you guys. Thank you. Thank you. So I started out when I was in Hong Kong, actually. When I come to Calgary, when I was 19 years old, and I started being engineering, electrical engineering, professional engineering. But something's not right. As I go on during my 12 years of engineering career, something's not right. So I noticed all the wealthy people, what do they do? Give me a hand. What did all the wealthy people do? Give me a hand. Real estate. Yes, of course. Then I need to go to real estate. So that's what I started to do. So I started buying condos in Calgary, and then I go to U.S. Everyone say that we are crazy during the 2010. We're crazy people anyway. Why we're here anyway on Saturday? So I go to U.S. with my wife, buy my first property in Phoenix. Good year, cash flowing pretty good. And then what I did is I go to China. Because if I can go to out of the country, go to the US, I think I could go to China. I'm a Chinese anyway. So I go to China and buy properties, buy more properties, and then come back to Canada and buy more properties in Winnipeg. Just more properties. So I find that this is not the way to go. I find that actually, what is the better way to buy multiple units? Well, I have a goal I want to reach. So why don't I buy multifamily? So I start investigating how do you do it. I learned about from the guru, such as Sunil and other really respected experts on this kind of forefront. So I learned, I cracked the codes, and that's what I'm going to show you today, how to make massive cash flow with multifamily investing. That's perfect. So I don't want to bore you with my picture, but this is my wife, and this is my 3-year-old daughter. And so many say that they're better looking at me. I won't argue with that. So they're supporting me all the way from Calgary today. So they can't join us, but so the spirit is here. So to continue my story is I say that I come from Hong Kong, 19 years old. But my story is I didn't know about riches. I didn't know about wealthy when I was like really young in Hong Kong. I didn't have the privilege that you guys have to be able to learn from the expert at that time. I was growing in a 200 square feet apartment for 19 years, and it's assisted living. But one thing that I learned is, we didn't have a lot of space, but I was raised by a really decent parent to teach me really good value on how to, how to be a responsible citizen. But what I find is you can really learn from the respected experts and really think and grow rich. But enough about myself. I want to jump right in to talk about what's the biggest difference between single family and multifamily. So by show of hand, who have invested in single families, rentals, or anything? Please show your hands. That's good. That's good. And how about multifamily? Who have invested in multifamily? That's good. I can see some couple hands. Where you invest in your multifamily? You first. Sorry. Sarnia area. And how about you? Toronto. That's good. That's good. Anyone invest in the U.S. for multifamilies? Where's your property? Atlanta. That's a good market. I like that. And thank you. And who want to just make lots of money anyway? Lots of money. Please show your hand. A lot of money. Perfect. Who's not going to show your hands no matter what I'm going to ask you anyway? Okay. But, when you're looking at single family and multifamily, the idea is really simple. And what we're talking about is everyone's keep talking about multiple streams of income. Multiple streams of income. The reason why you keep building business, buying property is because you want multiple streams of income, right? Is it true? Yep. Yes. So I want to show you. First thing here is if you have one single family, if you have one single home, you have one tenant. So what's the best that you can do? You have only one income. If that tenant moves out tomorrow, lose a job or whatever, you're going to lose 100% of the income. Is that true? Yep. Yes. How about if you decide that you want to buy the 5 units or 10 units? You have basically multiple streams of income, and the way they look at that is almost like a hedged vacancy. So when you're investing in the 10 units, if 1 or 2 units actually, tenants lose a job or move out of your complex, you still have 80% full. And that's what I'm talking about. It's really, really important. Experts keep telling you to diversify. If you invest in multifamily, you diversify by just like this. It's just simple as that. And the advantages of investing in multifamily doesn't end like this. So if you're looking at single family, you're looking at one roof. You're looking at one system, one maintenance system, one water system, one electrical systems. But you're looking at the multifamily. If you have a one roof and you usually host it for 5, 10, or 50, or even a lot, like 100 units. So basically what you're doing is you have like economy of scale. What we're talking about is the economy of scale. When you invest in multifamily, you basically have a lot of cost savings by doing just that. And then last but not all, when I'm closing all these properties in Winnipeg, one thing that struck me is if I'm going to be, because I have a goal of achieving that kind of amount of properties in a number of years, I talked to my wife. It's like, how about if I want to close that many units? Would you still be with me? I still want to be married at the end of the day. If I actually close that many buildings, that many properties for single family, it's just no way that I can achieve the goals that I want to achieve. Would you guys agree? Would you guys agree? So I figured that must be a better way. And then, as I said, I started learning about multifamily. I started learning this topic, multifamily investing. How do you look at a deal, find a deal, invest in a deal, and analyzing it from experts like Snell and other experts that from the US. So I'm going to chop it really, really, really easy. Because the reason is, at the end of the day, we have a quiz. And for the quiz, and you're going to win, you see that everyone's just going to look at the back, where Chanel sits, on the right-hand side. So you see there's a PS4 over there? And that's for you to win. If you actually attend or write down all the answer very correctly, and you're going to win the quiz. No, I'm just kidding. So at the end of the day, I want you to fill out a contact form. And just want to fill out a contact form. And then at the end of it, it's easy. I'm just going to pick out the winner, and not Chanel or like some other person pick out the winner. And then we're just going to give it away. Is that cool? Yeah. Yes. Yes. So I'm going to talk about 3 steps in buying in multifamily. 3 steps. I just want to make it really, really easy for you guys. First is finding the right market. And then second is the right property. And the third thing is how do you uncover the value-add opportunity. So what is the right market? What is the emerging market? Would you guys say an emerging market is somewhere in New York or somewhere in the Midwest? So I'll give you an example. If you're looking for a market that's keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, do you think that for the next 5 years it's going to keep going up or not? Yeah? Yeah? You actually think that it already appreciated for 50%, 70%, it's going to keep going up for another 100%? Maybe. I don't know. But I would like to look at it from that angle. But what I do is during my studies on multifamily investing, there's some specific guidelines that you can actually learn. As I said, I'm going to teach you how you find a deal, how you find the right market, and when you jump into that, I'm going to show you how you do that as well. Because I want you, at the end of the day, you have so much information, give you so much value that at the end, you can just find your deal and invest in multifamily. So how for the right properties? What is the right typical property? We invest in multifamily because of economy of scale. So what I'm talking about is I don't want you to find small properties. I don't want you to find 2 units, 4 units. You want to actually find big properties. And the reason is, that's very, very much the reason why you invest in multifamily, is because you want to hedge the vacancy. You want to invest in the path of growth. What it means by that is, if some big company, Amazon going in there, Amazon building 1,000 people manufacture, like a 3PL warehouse there, I want you to hunt for the deals close to that before everyone starts looking at that. So I want you to look at that, right properties, B or C area. You don't want to buy anything really, really new. Because when you're buying really, really new, guess what value you can add to that? And that comes to the next point. You want to actually go into the older properties that have like lipsticks that you can fix, and you can actually add some equity into that. By doing that, I'm going to teach you how to do that, is to increase the rent. When you increase the rent, you increase your equity value for multifamily. And it's almost like your active appreciations for single family. When you renovate, you increase the price. I'm going to give you an example here, just make it easier to illustrate. So if you buy a properties, for $50,000, and let's say you add $20,000 to renovation, make it better, improve it. So if at the end, so your property sell for $100,000, your active appreciation is what? Anyone can tell me? 30,000? That's right, 30,000. Like 5 plus 2 equal to 7, and then you get 10 minus the 7, you got 30,000 active appreciations. And for multifamily, it's really much similar to that, but it's easier than that. Because when you actually improve the place, you increase the rent. And what you do by that is increase the rent, you increase the property value. Is everyone following me so far, or you have some questions? Do I need to bring this to kind of motivate you again? Just making sure. You guys are really motivated. I like this cloud. Because we are here, because I think we have to get one thing straight. We are here to learn about how to invest in multifamily units. We have to be motivated and trying to absorb as much as anything as possible. From me, from Brian, from Sunil, which is all respected expert on this field. So first of all, how do you find a deal? So you say now, so now it's good. I understand the benefit of investing in multifamily versus single family. So how do you find a deal? So I know that some people who have raised their hand of investing in multifamily can share with me how they find your deal. How do you find your deal?
Typically driving around.
Driving around, that's a good one. And anyone else?
Wholesalers.
Wholesalers?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one too as well. And what I find is over the course of my investing, the best sources of finding deals is actually broker and agent relationships. Because you know what? We're investor. Our job is to create relationships, to be able to get the deal from them. And when I say agent, who is actually agent here? Can show a hand. Where's the agent? That's good. Perfect. You know, in my opinion, as an investor, the best way is create a relationship for them. Because guess what? When you have a deal, if I have a really good relationship with you, what are you going to do? Are you going to send me the deal because I have a really good relationship with you? Because you know that I'm going to close it every time? Of course, right? You're going to send the deal to the people that you know you're going to close the deal. You know you don't want, basically, when the seller comes to you and says, I want to sell this property, your commission is already at your mouth. So you don't want to lose it. You want to send it to the people that have the best ability to close it. When you have the good relationship with them, you know that how your net worth is, and you know you did it previously, they're gonna send the deal to you. So we want to create the deal flow. That's what I'm talking about, the deal flow. And second is you can look online. You can go to a website like NewtNet. Personally, it's a trash can of the deals, in my opinion. But you know, it's not the best place to start because sometimes you can find a good deal or decent deal on NewtNet. Basically, what happened is like, you know, Mr. Broker, Mr. Agent at the first time that, you know, cannot find, you know, if you know me, you know Sunil, you know Amit, you're going to ask three of us whether we're going to be interested on this deal. But all three of us, which is a really good closer that still don't say that this is a good deal, what they say. Because basically this is not a good deal at all. So they post it online and spend the time and energy to post it online, and hopefully it can basically advertise to the public. And then last but not least is by direct mail. So in Canada, I know that we have privacy law to stop you from doing what they can do in the US. Believe it or not, I have to do it in Canada as well. I'm not going to share it with you today, but there's ways that you can actually do and get the list of the owners and the building address and can send a direct letter. And basically what you do is you send them a letter, say, Mr. So-and-so, I know you're the owner of this property, and you know what, I have really good interest and I have been investing in this area and I would like to buy your property with cash. So you send them like send them a letter for every 3 months. The first time they're going to ignore you. Second time they're going to ignore you. But I have created a lot of really good leads in Canada and US by just doing this method, direct mail. So we talk about myself, we talk about how you find a deal, and next thing I'm going to show you some really high level of how you're going to be analyzing your deal. So I said that at the beginning, I want you to be comfortable if Mr. Broker come to you and give you a deal, and I want you to actually look at those three things, and able to analyze quickly in 30 seconds whether this is a good deal or not. So first of all, cap rate. DCR and cash on cash. I'm not going to be jumping into too much, but I want you to get an idea of what those three things is. Who knows what cap rate is? If you show a hand. Okay. What is a cap rate, if you can tell me? Perfect. So Can you see it? Perfect. So what it is basically if you pick any city like for example like Toronto or New York, the cap rate is usually really low. We talk about 3 or 4 cap rate. If you're looking at a really emerging market, really ready to be going up, and that kind of market, the market like for example in Midwest, like Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, the market that I'm focusing on myself, the cap rate is actually higher. As an investor, I like cash flow. Who like cash flow? That's right. So I invest in those markets, by the way, because I don't want to, I don't want to invest in a market that doesn't give me cash flow. And that's why we're here to learn about how to build massive cash flow. So I invest in those kind of market. So those kind of market, typically you can find a cap rate in about 8, 9, or 10, or even higher. And that's what excited me to be able to find that kind of cap rate in those markets. DCR is called debt coverage ratio. In essence, it's basically how the bank looking at how healthy your property is in terms of the ability to generate cash flow to cover the loan. That's just how simple is that. So typically, bank will actually looking for 1.2 and up. So your property making NOI, net operating income of 100,000, and if your loan is let's say the debt service you have to pay at the end of the year is 120,000. So that's kind of minimum as an example that the bank will actually qualify your loan. So cash on cash. And that's really, really important because at the end of the day, we're here to make sure that the property will cash flow. Cash on cash. It's basically what it is the ability to return, to generate the cash, the return of the initial investment. So I didn't intentionally write out all the numbers for you, but the idea is you want to make sure when you get a deal from Mr. Broker, you want to analyze those 3 things: cap rate, DCR, which is debt coverage ratio, and cash on cash. If you don't know how, I'm not going to be able to stack all the information in 45 minutes. And come talk to me. Come talk to me. You're going to want to win the PS4 anyway. Come talk to me. I'm going to be willing to share what I know. I'm going to share what I know and how to analyze those things. Is it good? Good. Perfect. So last thing, due diligence. Now I said how to get a deal, how to analyze the deal. So when the broker actually give you all the information, rent roll and everything. So how do you analyze this building? This is a big ass building. Let's say it's like 40 units or whatever. Now how are you going to analyze it? So it's pretty much no different from single family. Except it's just more things. You're going to divide it into physical, financial, and legal due diligence. So physical is really self-explanatory. When you buy a home, I know that you guys has been so crazy for the last year that you guys you waive your physical inspection for some of the property. Is that true in Toronto? Yeah. When you buy it? So we don't do that, okay? We're investors. We don't do that. So we make sure, we check the property, make sure it's right. So we don't buy with emotion. So we will go through the third-party reports, environmental phase 1, make sure that there's no oil in the ground. Make sure that you have to basically, when you're buying this property, you have to make sure that unit by unit is good. So you're going to do a unit by unit inspection. Financial due diligence. You're going to look for like rent rolls. What is a rent roll? It's basically a list of the income that's coming in for your tenants. We're showing all the lists. If you have 40 units, you're going to have 40 lines of it. And each one of them, including when does it start, where does it end, how much delinquent, and is it vacant, is it a show model, all this. It needs to be on that. Is it the manager on site is occupying it? So all this is short on detailing on the rent rolls. And you always want the latest rent roll. You don't want the 3 months like 3 months ago rent roll. You don't want a year ago rent roll. You want the latest rent roll to reflect the current occupancy. Okay? And 3 years operating statement. So when you're buying multifamily, it's like buying a business. You won't buy it without knowing the history of that company. In this case, it's the multifamily. It's just a business itself. So you want to know how is it operating for the last 3 years. And legal due diligence, you're going to lean on a really big part from the lawyer to help you do what is the title, conditions, land survey, and so on. You want to make sure that you're buying a right property without hicked up later on. So I'm breaking it all down: physical, financial, and legal due diligence. You have to make sure you do it. I know that sounds like a lot of things, but when you're buying a big properties, you want to make sure that you're buying it right. You want to make sure that whatever the seller is picturing to you, you're getting what you get. So, go ahead. You can ask a question anytime. You can ask a question anytime.
Therefore, the due diligence has a different cost to it. Can you average or give me a ratio of what should we factor in order for costing?
3 to 5%.
3 to 5?
Yes, 3 to 5%. Because what you're talking about is you have to, of course, all the reports, and the lender is going to make you to do all the reports because they want to make sure they are the biggest investor of your deal, by the way, right? They're the biggest investor in your deal. And they want to make sure that you're going to order all the reports, basically like an appraisal report, inspection report. Like even though you do your inspection, they're going to ask you to pay for the inspector to actually inspect the units, and then environmental reports. So, and then you have to pay all before the loan will get started to be, before you get actually kick-started. So you pay all this money on top of that. So it is not how you close a single family, I guess you can say it. But is it divorce better or doing this better? I say this is better. So, any questions? Any questions? Yes.
How you suppose that you make your proposal of trying to buy the property and arrange the financing? Which expenses can you pay for all the diligence, all the reports, and then the deal collapse because there's no financing and you're out of 5% already?
Yeah.
So how you limit the risk?
Really good, really good. And what's your name? Other. So to quickly answer the question, Other, is, first of all, and you're right, there's a lot of upfront costs. But your ability to, as a multifamily investor, is basically uncover as much as possible before you actually start the clock. That's why I say to start the clock. So before you do that, you have to make sure that you already run the property 2 times, hopefully. That's what I usually do. And you basically walk the property managers with the team, that unit by unit. And I mean, things like legal due diligence, that's like pretty hard to do, to basically do beforehand. But I mean, financial due diligence, you can do it a little bit hand. You basically request what I told you earlier, rent rolls and 3 years of operation and the OM, right? And the operating agreement, offering memorandum, basically it's a property package. So you do all those and you just answer a lot of questions. You will basically, you're kind of like a detective, right? When you go on site, you talk to the on-site managers and make sure that all those numbers works. And you also request, I didn't put it on, is bank deposit. You want to make sure that what they state on the rent roll actually match what they put in on the bank. So yes, it is a lot of cost. And, but I think we are all here to make money. Massive cash flow is what I'm talking about. If everyone can invest in multifamily units, you guys won't be here. You guys won't be here to learn about this. Is it true? Yes. So it's a lot of moving steps and more moving things. But at the end of the day, you probably will be partnered with someone that is like, have the credibility to actually able to analyze this kind of things. Because the first one, I wouldn't imagine you will be doing by yourself. You will probably hire someone or work with someone who have done it many times, and to have the experience, because you're buying a big asset here. You're buying a really big asset.
The biggest expense is basically the appraisal and description and you are assuming that the property value is X and the appraisal is Y and it's not square and basically time and money.
Yeah, it's risk. No matter what we do in life, invest in educations, investing in really successful, you want 20 million at the end of the day, it's risk. But wasting time is also risk. Not doing things is also risk. Not taking action is also risk. And that's how I'm looking at that. You have to take actions, right? Do you all agree? Yes. Because at the end of the day, one thing that we don't have, what's the one single most important currency is what? Time. It's time. Even though I look young, but I'm aging. So is everyone here. So the one single biggest thing that we don't have is time. if I can do more, and if I take some risk, educated risk, and if I can raise my family better, I would do it. Because that's what I think my time's worth. And I think that's really important. Take risk and learn and grow and buy big assets is not for everyone. But I think multifamily is a really good opportunity to invest because it's still really close to residential. It's still really close to what you buy in single family. It's a little bit hairy in terms of you have to learn different things. But as I said, you shouldn't be doing your first deal by yourself, and it's not for faint of heart. If you want to get rich, there's no shortcut. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But I explained to you all those things about find a market, find a deal, and how to analyze the property, and do the numbers and all that. Would it be cool if I actually tell you I actually have a deal in front of you that actually meet all the criteria that I explained about? Would you be excited to learn about this? Yes. Perfect. So Dayton, Ohio, it's right here. It's about 6 hours drive, six and a half hours drive from Toronto. So you guys can actually see that from here. You are here, and this is a target market. I mentioned about Midwest earlier in my presentations. So Midwest is the market that where the Trump institution is actually doing all the jobs going in because of manufacturing and all that. So that's the market I pick. I'll show you why I picked that market. First of all, it's the home of the aviations. Home of the aviations where Wright brothers invented airplanes 100 years ago. There's a lot of history. And it's a house of the biggest air base in the United States. Have 26,000 employees working in that air base called Patterson, Wright is Wright brothers, that's right. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And the job growth is 1.9% for last year, and population growth 4.5%, and is for last 10 years. And it's decent vacancy, 4%. And I said that I'm going to show you the apartment that I should walk. And this, of course, is me with the property manager, with the contractor, and the broker. So let's just play that. Yes, yes. Yes. Take your time. So it's really important to cover the basis of what is an emerging market. And what I'm talking about is you have decent job growth, you have enough population growth going in, and you have low vacancy. Because we're in the business of rental business. You need people to actually fill the apartment building. That's why it's really important. Are we good on this slide? Perfect. Yeah. Thanks, Jason. So Riverside is the area, and this is inside. So that was the property. I just want to show you. It's a 48-unit property in Dayton, Ohio. And the reason I picked that property is, so I'll just show you furthermore pictures of, it's a 6-building properties, and each one of them have 8 units. And that's when I talk about efficiency, when I talk about investing in multifamily. We talked about value add here earlier, touching on what is the value add on here, on this building. Why this is so attractive that I want to show it to you as an example property is this property, when I actually go around the area, I can actually find property that is renting right here. $525, $575, and my property right now is renting at $400. So by doing a little bit of work, I can actually increase the rent to not exactly matching $525, $575, but it's closer to that. By able to do that, I increase the value of the property, and that's what I'm talking about. Are we good? Go ahead.
Do they have rent control down there? In other words, you can't just increase 15%, or do you just wait till tenants move out?
No, that's what I love about Ohio. They don't have that. And you have to, when you do your marketing of emerging market, you have to pay attention on whether a state is a landlord-friendly state or not. And Ohio is one of them. And Texas is another one, for example. And there's many others. I can send you the list later on when you get in touch with me.
Okay, so you don't have to wait till a lease is up or anything?
No. Yeah. Well, you do have to rate leases up. But what I mean is, when you look at the property, what you do is you look at the rent profile. You basically have a 50% rent profile that's going to expire every year. So when you can do it, it tends not to be that much of issues. But yeah, you have to pay attention on whether a state is it allows you to do that or not. You have to abide the regulation, of course. Yes.
Sorry, quick question.
Go ahead.
You talked earlier about B and C class.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Okay. So B and C class is, if you're looking at the Toronto downtown area, so those are AAA. Those AAA offices, so usually it's 0 to 5 years, super new, everything brand new. So B class is just add another 10 years, and C class add another 10 years. So usually it's the property that you're not going to be the A rare, it's not going to be the A properties. Why we specify B and C areas? Anyone know? I mean, B and C properties. Why I want to specifically find B and C properties? Go ahead. Exactly. You want to add values. And that's basically what I'm doing today. We want to add value to the property. When you're doing things, you can bring the C property, maybe to B minus. When you do that, you increase the value, increase the rent, and you increase the price of the properties. That's just what it is. So go ahead.
So if there's an apartment, you take it over, they're paying $400. Are you saying doing nothing with a specific apartment, hello, Mr. Tenant, I'm the new owner, I'm not charging you $460? You're able to do that?
Of course not. You have to do some work about that. And that's when we talk about renovations. So when you're doing your due diligence and analyze the properties, what you do is you budget the renovation budget, right? In this case, we had to put in $170,000 to this building. But when you do that, when you calculate that how much you're going in, your cash on cash, including that, so you know what's your return. So you have to budget that.
But if the tenant doesn't want to move out,
Yeah.
how are you going to do renovation?
Well, this is really easy. You just tell them, I'm going to do some work. First of all, I'm going to do your cabin. Well, how do you do the cabin? I'm going to move everything to do the cabin. By the time they move everything, I'm sure they will move out. Yes. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit here because we have 5 more minutes. But I'm going to jump through the financial here. So what we talk about this property, 40 unit property, we talk about 12% annualized. It's way better than your RRSP, isn't it? Yes. So purchase price, this is what kicked me. 1.339 US, 28,000 per unit. How much is it in Ontario right now? How much is it per unit price in Ontario right now? Add another 0 maybe, right? Another 0 maybe. The rent is not divided another 0. So that's what I like about that. That's what I like about that. It's a cost saving. When you find an emerging market, you can actually find property that have high cap rate and give you enough cash flow. And minimum investment for this property. Later on, if you're interested, I have property package at the end of the table next to the PS4. You can find and talk to me, and it's 20,000 US. If you want to come, we still have limited opening for investor to partner with investor. If you're interested, I can give you the information. It's 20,000 US minimum and holding for 3 to 5 years because we need to go in and do the work, raise the rent, and reap the result. So I want to really quickly summarize what I've been sharing with you today. So we talk about how to find the right market, how to find the right deal, how to do the due diligence, and as this gentleman has talked about it earlier, there's a lot of things covering up. But I want to give you enough comfortability. I want you to actually go out after today. Where do I start? Find the right deal, answer the right question about the rent rolls and P&L, and really start doing it. Because the point is, information is good. I know one of my legends, Brian Tracy, has said, information is good, but information is what only makes one's rich. All the librarians will be millionaire. So I want you to take action today You know, that's why you're all here, to learn about this, but more importantly, is to take action, to learn about how to invest in actually doing it. So I'll be here at the end of the sessions. Thank you very much for sharing with me today. Again, I want to thank so much for the time for Sunil. Thank you very much.